Recording is on.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to LisaBug Yoga. We have a restorative practice together today, and I'm so excited. I'll let you know what you need, and if you don't have all of these props, that's okay. You'll have options to get nice and comfortable with whatever you have. But today, I'm using a yoga bolster, and if you don't have one at home, just take a couple of bed pillows or maybe a cushion off of your couch, something that's got a little bit of substance to it so it's not really collapsible and squishy, but something that's got some substance to support your body. And then I also have a traditional yoga block and strap. And then as well today, I have a couple of just regular size bath towels, and we're going to use those a couple of different ways to support your body. I also have a yoga blanket, and I'm nice and toasty by the fireplace, but I want to make sure that you are comfortable today, that you're in a place where you feel pretty warm and relaxed. If you need socks on or whatever, just to keep you nice and toasty warm, that's wonderful for a restorative practice. So just come to a nice, comfortable seated position on your mat, and we'll begin to ground and focus today. A restorative practice is beneficial for our body, our mind, and our emotional well-being. It really helps us to alleviate stress in our life, and I know that many of us have that going on right now with the state of our world today. So we'll just come into a comfortable seat with a nice long spine and begin to breathe. And today, as we hold our poses for an extended period of time, we're going to use what's called the sinking breath. S-I-N-K, as if you're sinking into the depth of the pose. So for with that breath, inhale a count of 3, 2, 1, pause for a count, and then exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We inhale 3, 2, 1, pause, exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And just process that breath, whatever rate the count feels good for you. If you need to make it inhale 2, exhale 4, inhale 4, exhale 8, just as long as we try to exhale the breath about twice as long as we inhale. So take a few more rounds on your own. This is a very calming breath. It brings us into the parasympathetic side of our nervous system, that side that says, all is well. We can rest and digest, rest and relax, rest and restore. So it's the opposite of that fight or flight response of the sympathetic nervous system. We'll take one more sinking breath. Exhaling completely. And then return to a normal breath pattern. So as we hold our poses today, we'll come into that sinking breath once we get into the pose and you feel relaxed. And we use that breath also to help us to clear our mind of any external thoughts that may try to invade as you're holding the pose. So today we're going to work on posture, opening up through the chest and releasing through the connective tissue. We've also got some twists today with a little bit of release for the mid and upper back. What we're going to start with is take your cushion or your pillows and turn them long ways towards one end of your mat. And we're going to take the yoga block and prop up the side of your bolster that's further away from you, just so that it's slightly elevated off the floor. And you can use other items other than a block just to lift your blanket up. So we've got a little bit of an incline here. And then we'll turn with our back towards the bolster or your pillows, and you want to have your tailbone up nice and close to the pillow so you feel supported. Here's where your towels come in. So I want you to roll up one of your towels or fold it a couple of times, set it off to one side of your body, and then fold your other towel and set it off to the other side. So it just depends on how flexible your hips are as to how much height that you're going to need in these towels. And we'll take the right leg and extend it straight out forward, just relaxed. Take your left leg in a seated tree, so the inner thigh or the sole of the foot is to the inner thigh. And I want you to make sure that your knee comes into contact with your blanket. So if you're not feeling much of a stretch, you might take it out or completely away. Or if you really need more height, roll it up a couple of times. So the mantra with restorative yoga is with support facilitates release. So we want to have this leg supported. And then if you have your blanket, it might be nice just to place a little heaviness right on top of that leg so you feel just some moderate pressure down into that thigh. We'll take our tailbone nice up and against the blanket or the bolster or pillow, and then roll yourself back gently until your head comes to the pillow. Open out your arms to a little chest expansion. And then once you feel comfortable, find your sinking breath. So I'm going to actually time our poses today. Sometimes I get to talking and then we might not get the same amount on each side. And we're here for 3 minutes. Now, restorative poses typically are held much longer than 3 minutes. But for today, I'd like for us to get through several of our poses in class. If you're at home on YouTube at a later time and you'd like to hold these longer, just go ahead and hit the pause button now and remain here as long as you'd like. So as you settle into this pose, you begin to bring your awareness to where you're feeling stretching, lengthening, release, those kind of sensations in your body. We never want any painful positions in restorative yoga. Just a gentle, gentle stretch, very calming and relaxing. And it's okay if you have to fidget around just a little bit, change your position every once in a while. But once you get comfortable, do your best just to stay as you are. And then bring your awareness to the sinking breath. Inhaling 3, 2, 1, holding at the top. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now you might find after a time your mind drifts away from the sinking breath, and your breath will return to a normal flow, in and out through the nose. So we stay in a state of consciousness. It's very common to fall asleep in a restorative pose, and that's okay. But try to keep just above that place where you would drift off, so that your mind and your body are aware of the stretch. And if anything doesn't feel right for you, you can make adjustments. If you feel you need to come out of the stretch sooner, please do that as well. So that's 3 minutes in our pose. Take a nice big inhale and then prepare to sit yourself up. You may or may not need to use your hands for a little gentle guidance, or just reach the arms forward, engage your core, and rise. Take a moment to switch your props. So extend your left leg forward, bend your right knee in a comfortable position, open that knee out, let it set right onto your towel there, and place the blanket over your thighs. Take your time to roll back and make sure your back is fully supported onto your pillow behind you. And your head should be as neutral as possible. So if you feel your chin tipping way back, you may need another little extra pillow or washcloth or towel behind the back of your head to bring your chin to a neutral alignment. And we come into the sinking breath. It's so common for one side to feel completely different than the other. So just notice the stretch you feel into that opposing hip. Check to make sure you're not tightening any muscles anywhere. So do a brief scan from head to toe and notice if your shoulders are relaxed, your neck, your facial muscles. Then follow down into your hips, your glutes, your thighs, your legs. The arms should feel heavy, allowing that beautiful stretch to happen in the chest muscles, where we tend to be very tight. You can also connect with the Ujjayi breath. Inhaling, pausing, constricting the back of the throat as you exhale, and hear that soft whisper sound in your throat. We're here just over 1 minute remaining. And see if you can make yourself feel 10% more comfortable. 10% more relaxed. 10% calmer. Feeling safe and secure at home in your space. Let's take one more sinking breath, inhaling, a count of 3, 2, 1, pause. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now always mentally prepare to rise before you move your body. Inhale, and as you exhale, roll yourself up away from your prop. Now we move into both knees bent in butterfly. Make sure your pillow is still secure at your tailbone. And let's roll up your towels to support both of your thighs. Now, if we come way out to the knee knees. Sometimes we're not connecting with the towel, so you can bring it further underneath your thighs, closer to the top of your leg. If you've got your blanket, let's set it right over the top of both thighs and prepare to roll back. And we're holding this pose for just a bit longer. We have a 4-minute hold. And this is our Baddha Konasana pose, reclined bound angle. Your palms are up, which opens up through the shoulders and the chest. And it's also really important that your arms are connected with the floor. So if for some reason you're really tight in your shoulders and your arms don't touch the floor, change your position, bring them in a little closer. Or you can even interlace your hands and fold them across your belly. Another nice position for stretching is to interlace your hands and bring them back behind your head. And that makes a little pillow for your head as well. You can just let your arms relax. Feel that gentle stretch through the chest, the triceps, the lats, and the shoulders. But again, really bring your awareness to your sense of comfort. And if this isn't a place you feel like you can hold very long, then it's not the right place for you today with your arms. Bring them back down by your side. Notice whether you're contracting your inner thighs. Really allow your legs to feel heavy into the props. Come back to that sinking breath, a rest and restore breath. And as you breathe in, really let the belly rise and the rib cage expand, the heart open. And that assists in giving you a beautiful release in the upper body in this stretch. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw. So there should be some separation between your teeth and maybe the tongue just gently floating at the roof of the mouth. You can even part your lips slightly, relaxing the jaw and the face. As we hold for one more minute, if your mind is wandering, bring it back to the breath. And bring it back to the sensations you're feeling in your physical body. Take in one more sinking breath. Exhaling slowly and completely. Then mentally prepare to rise. Take a nice breath in and reach the arms forward or use them for support as you roll up away from your props. We'll come back to a gentle cross-legged pose with a nice long spine. Our next series of poses involves a twist. And I like to pre-twist the spine before we get into our restorative pose. So let's reach one hand across to the opposite knee, the other hand behind you, and hold a nice rotation looking over your shoulder. So whenever we twist, we create a little small bit of rotation in each one of our vertebrae. And some areas of our spine have more range of motion than others. Usually the base of the spine has very little. The mid back and the upper back have more. And then the neck just depends on, maybe aging, the flexibility that you have left in the neck. And we take that stretch and that twist to a gentle place. And then let's come to the other side, reach across, hand behind you. Sit really tall as you create that rotation. Try not to hold the breath, just let it come in and out at a natural pace. One more breath here in our twist. And exhale back to center. So you're going to sit sideways up towards your blanket. So I'm going to bring up one hip nice and close, and then bring your knees to slightly stagger. So I have the top knee down a little lower than the bottom knee, and I'm placing my shin or my ankle into the arch of the other foot. This is a nice relaxed place. Now we might need our towel here to support the forehead. We have several different positions that we're going to do with our neck. So you want to bring one of your towels to the top of your pillow. So here, lengthen your spine nice and long. Bring the closest hand back behind your pillow, and then the other hand to the other side, and really lengthen your spine as long as you can, and try to align your belly and your chest right towards your blanket. Start to walk yourself down, and then bring your forehead straight ahead down onto your towel. So the first position here, our spine is in a twist, but our head is in neutral. Now your arms should be relaxed. They can just hang down towards the floor, or if you've got space underneath your pillow, you can just hug it and reach underneath. And this might open up your shoulder blades just a little bit more. Now sometimes after we've been in this twist, we kind of lose the sensation because we're feeling some release. And you might be able to actually deepen your twist a little bit. So if that's the case, you can slightly press up with your hands, turn your body a little more away from your knees, and then as you set your head down, turn your head away from your knees. So my knees are to the right, and I'm looking to my left. Now, this might not be a comfortable position for your neck to stay in for very long. So you can always bring your head back to neutral again with the forehead on your towel. Or you can actually turn your head towards the same side as your knees are pointing. So we'll be here just maybe a couple more minutes. And I want you to decide the best position with your head. And you can turn it at any time and try some of the different twists. Once you get comfortable, come back to the sinking breath. Now, it's very difficult to breathe into the belly and the chest in this pose. So breathe into the side ribs and the back rib cage. Let those areas expand to accommodate the breath in. And just under 1 minute remaining to this side. Again, do a quick little full body scan and just notice if you're carrying any areas of tension or gripping, and let those areas soften and let go. Take one more sinking breath. Inhale, pause at the top, and exhale fully. A long, slow exhalation. And before you rise, if your head is turned to the right or left, bring it back to center just briefly. Then press into the palms of the hands and bring yourself up. Come back to a simple cross-leg pose. And take your time to come into the other side. So you can either move your prop over, or it might be easier just to turn your body around, bringing the opposite hip close to your pillow, staggering your knees slightly. The ankle of the top leg comes into the arch of the bottom leg. The hand that's closest to your pillow reaches behind you slightly. The other hand to the opposite side of the pillow. And try not to rush to lay down. I like to lift up, up, up into a little bit of a seated swan. And then lengthen the spine as you fold forward. And start with your forehead straight down. And the forehead is on your towel so that you can breathe easily in and out through the nose. Now, right away, I can tell this twist is not as, I don't have as much range of motion in this side. And the reason I can feel that is my left elbow isn't coming down to the floor. So I can't quite get that range. I'm going to press back up and turn a little deeper. And then try to come down again, see if I can get that elbow to the floor. I'm almost there. Very gentle stretch. And then just notice, can you turn your head away from the direction the knees are pointing? That's the hard one. That's the tight position. But boy, when I turn my head that way, I can really feel more release in my left side upper back. But I can only stay here for a couple of breaths, and then I'll take my head the other direction, and that feels much better. Once you're comfortable, come back to that sinking breath, continuing to evaluate your level of comfort and release in the pose. And sometimes when we have our face down onto the towel or blanket, it causes our jaw to shift out of alignment. So try to support your head into a place where you're not pressing that lower jaw laterally away from your upper jaw. It should be completely free of any pressure. And we have just about 1 more minute remaining on this side. The legs should feel heavy, the hips, the arms relaxed. And just notice where the breath moves in the rib cage. And we'll take one more sinking breath here. Exhaling completely. And then if your head is turned to one side or the other, bring it back to neutral and pause there to find equilibrium in the muscles of your neck. Then press your palms into the floor, pressing yourself up away from the prop, coming back to an easy cross-leg pose. We're going to set up a supported forward fold or turtle pose. And the more prop you have, the better if you're fairly tight in your hamstrings. If you're really flexible, you might not need any prop at all to support you. So you'll need your 2 towels, and you can create a little bit of a roll. So I'm going to roll mine up. So I have a little tube, set it to one side of my bolster, and then create a little tube and set it to the other side. These are going to go underneath the bottoms of your knees. So we'll turn to face your bolster, your pillow, and extend your legs, one on either side, and then take your towel and place it right underneath your knees to prop your knees up so that they're slightly bent. Now your legs can be slightly wider than the bolster, or you can go pretty wide if you feel comfortable here. So the key is to get your upper body to feel supported in some way on to your bolster. So we can lift this up a little higher by placing the block down closer. So it's going to lift this up so I can get my chest onto the bolster or the pillow. If that's not working and you still can't fold far enough, your elbows come onto it and you support your head with the palms of your hands. So this forward fold should be gentle. I want you to feel it down the backs of the legs, the lower back, but not so deep that you can't hold this for about 3 or 4 minutes. Now your head can be turned to the right or left, Or if you've got that extra little towel there that you can go underneath your forehead, you can keep it straight ahead. And once you find your level of comfort, we come back to our sinking breath. And we're here about 4 minutes in our supported forward fold. Now, it's really common once we're here for a while for everything to start to let go and relax. And then you start to lose the sensation of stretching. And you might be able to actually slide the prop out and go down lower to the floor. So it's okay to keep exploring your range of motion here in this stretch. It's all right to be up on the elbows. Just try to relax your head and your neck and your shoulders. And also, it's difficult to breathe into the belly here, so send the breath into the back side of your ribs. Expand as you breathe. Feel the stretch in the intercostal muscles. And just notice your feet, your toes. They should be relaxed. You can wiggle them around a little bit just to make sure you're not tensing. Relaxing the lower legs, the upper legs. And this is a nice stretch for the entire posterior chain, which is connected from the back of the head all the way underneath the bottoms of the feet. If the mind wanders, come back to the sinking breath. Or recite a positive mantra. Breathing in, I am. Breathing out, relaxed. As we continue to hold the pose, if you're feeling discomfort and need to exit sooner, give yourself that permission. And if that's you, you can just sit straight up and close your eyes and breathe. And we'll take one more sinking breath, inhaling 3, 2, 1, pause. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Mentally prepare to rise, coming all the way up to a long spine. And then just reach your fingertips behind you towards the floor and counter that forward fold with a little bit of a chest stretch and release. And we'll relax that stretch. Take your pillow in front of you and turn it so it's horizontal to your mat instead of vertical. And this is going to support the bottoms of your knees. And then one of our towels here, I'd like you to open it up, maybe about this wide, and you're going to create another little blanket roll. So I'm going to start to roll it from the end so that I've got a circumference of maybe about 3 inches or so, and it's long enough to go back behind my back. So where this blanket roll will go will be right along the bottom of the bra line, or where you would wear a heart rate monitor for men. And that's going to give us a little lift of the heart. So we want to take that and bring it behind us. You might have to do a little bit of adjusting to get it in the right spot. Now, if you have a yoga strap, and if you don't, that's okay. This pose can be done without. I have mine connected in the D-ring, and I'm going to place the strap around my upper leg and then cinch it really tight so that my legs are close together. You can also just use something that you can tie nice and secure, a little winter scarf or something. So we are going to come into a reclined position with your knees over your pillow. Take your time to secure your yoga strap tight around your thighs. And you don't want to have it too close to your knees. You want to be a little bit in the upper portion of your thighs. So that's nice and secure. And then once we roll down, I also have a little blanket for my head for a pillow. This portion underneath that rib cage, and your arms are going to go through this space directly out like a T. So take your time to roll back. And then I've noticed, I'm way up too high on my blanket roll, or my towel roll. So I'm going to bring it down a little bit. So what you want, and hopefully you can see this, is for your ribs to be lifted up off the floor. So your shoulders and your shoulder blades are down. The arms extended out. The knees are nice and secure. The thighs are secure. So you're not using your leg muscles at all to help hold you in this position. And then come into a really deep sinking breath. And as you breathe in, let your heart and your rib cage just expand outward and upward. And just make sure your thighs are relaxed. Your hips should be implanted into the floor. The shoulder blades implanted into the floor. And that mid to upper back lifted up onto your towel roll. Arms are extended out long, palms are up. Head is in a nice neutral position. And then just reflect on where you're feeling sensations in your body here. And our goal is to get some release in the upper back. maybe emotional release as well. It's very common in a restorative class to maybe for some reason, unknown reason, to all of a sudden just release emotion, whether that be tears, either sadness or happy tears, or feeling just overwhelming joy, or love, or appreciation. So try not to stifle those emotions. Just allow them to be. If we're dealing with grief of any kind in our life, this is a wonderful way to address it, embrace it, allow it to come to the surface. If you have anything you're holding on to, a hurt between a friend or a family member, this is a good time to let that go if it no longer serves you. Free yourself of that burden. And then tell yourself that you are worth it. You are worthy of this time to spend in self-care. Sometimes we feel a little bit guilty about taking time for ourselves, and there's other obligations that need to be done. This is important time for you. We've got a couple more minutes here in our pose, and then I'll be ringing you out of the pose with the singing bell, the singing bowl. So you'll just relax, quiet your mind, eventually listening for the chime to ring. Once you hear the chime, there's no rush to come out of the pose. Just remain there as long as you like, beginning to reawaken the spirit, mind, and body. One chime to awaken the spirit, one to awaken the mind, and one to awaken the body. So as you remain there in your pose, just begin to notice your fingers and your toes. And find some gentle movement there, maybe wiggling, fluttering fingers and toes, opening and closing the palms of your hands. And then you choose how to come out of this position. You might want to reach forward and slide your yoga strap away from your knees while you're laying on your back. And then you can press your pillow away from your feet and roll over onto one side into baby pose. And sometimes it's nice to stay here in the side lying position for a few breaths. It helps for our blood pressure to rise just a bit. We become aware of our surroundings. And then when you feel ready, using the strength of your arms, press yourself back up and come to a comfortable seat. With a nice long spine, just notice how you're feeling. The muscles that feel released and softened after our practice today. And then notice how your heart, your mind is feeling, your emotional well-being after your practice today. And we'll just bring our hands to the top of our knees and begin to stir the spine in the pelvis around. And just one more this direction. And reverse, circle. After a restorative practice, it's so important to start to ease back into movement so that when we're finished, you're not just jumping up and going about your day. We take our time to get there. Back to neutral spine. Take a side bend, stretch, open up through the lats. And the other side. Use the breath. One more each direction. And come center. Open the arms into chest expansion, pulling the shoulder blades back. And then cross the right arm on top of left. Give yourself a big hug. Or you can wrap your arms into eagle, looking with the head to the right and to the left. Coming back to center, unwrap and expand. Big breath in. And the left arm crosses on top of the right for a big hug or wrapping into eagle. And we look to the left and center and to the right. Inhale, open. Exhale, your hands come together. Maybe you're touching the elbows. And open. Lift the heart. And then as you touch the wrists and elbows, drop your chin down to your chest, rounding your back. Inhale, seated cow. Exhale, seated cat. 2 more breaths. And 1 more. Open out and hold. Then bring the hands right in front of you, flexing the fingertips down and up. Wrist mobility. And then fold your thumbs in, interlace your fingers around the thumb, and circle the wrists around. And be gentle with this, because sometimes you'll feel a painful sensation with this movement. If you have any tendinitis or arthritis, let's reverse that circle. And then open the hands back up, relax them down, shrug the shoulders up towards your ears, press them back, and drop them down. Shrug up, elevation, press back, retraction, and down, depression. One more time, shoulders lift and press back. Drop those shoulder blades down, hold. Press the palms together at heart center in our Anjali Mudra. I am so honored and grateful for all of you and for joining me on this adventure of teaching classes online since March. When the Y's closed, it's been so important to me to have this mission to serve you and to enrich your lives. And that light and love and peace that resides within me honors the light and love and peace in each of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. If anybody would like to say hello, I always love to see your smiling faces or hear your voices and see how everything felt today.